You do not speak of what you see here. You do not look too long where the shadows gather. You do not ask why some doors never open. You only serve. The bishop's house is large, but never loud. It breathes like a thing alive. Its halls carry whispers. Long after voices fade its windows, watch its bells know, and still you stay because you were born beneath the stairs. Because no one remembers your name, but everyone calls you because leaving is not something servants do. You wake when the world is still black. You clean what must shine, though it stains your hands. You carry what others leave behind, but even in silence, even in obedience, you have begun to wonder why the chapel candles never melt, why the bishop's study always smells of iron, why the cellar door is bolted from the inside. You are only a servant. But something in this house is waiting, and you have begun to hear it move, not in the walls, but in the spaces between the prayers. This is not a house of God, not entirely. This is the bishop's house, and tonight you will not sleep. You wake before the frost has left the glass. Your breath rises in the cold air like incense. You are not allowed a fire, not here, not in the lower rooms. The stone floor bites your feet, but you are used to that pain that does not scream, becomes part of the morning. Your blanket folds into a square the moment you leave it. Your hands move without thinking, they remember. Before you do, the basin is already half full. You do not ask how. You wash quickly, quietly. The water is darker than it should. You ignore that too. A wooden comb waits near the wall. You drag it through your hair with no mirror to lie to you. The day begins with the silver bell, not the high bell of prayer, not yet the silver bell. Calls the lower ones, the quiet ones, the ones whose names no longer echo in the great hall. You dress in gray, the color of ash, the color of what comes after fire. You do not look up when you pass the bishop's door. It is closed. It is always closed. You do not know what time he wakes you. Have never seen him sleep there. Are rules written in no ink, spoken by no mouth. But you have followed them since your bones were small. You make no sound as you descend the servant's stair. Each step has its own cry. You know how to place your feet where the wood holds its breath. The air in the corridor is heavy with last night's prayers. You feel them in your chest. They do not leave. They stay behind the walls like mildew, like memory. Your first task is always the same: sweep the cloister, stone by stone, even when there is no dust, even when the wind has done it for you, even when something unseen has walked across it in the night and left no footprints. You walk slowly. You carry the broom like a candle. You listen. There is a bird trapped above the high arches. It has been there for 3 days. No one speaks of it, but it sings at the same hour a cracked song. Always just before the first prayer, you move on. You reach the chapel door. You do not enter, not yet. Your hands are not clean enough. Your thoughts are not quiet enough. You wait beside the arch. You count to 77, not because you must, but because the number arrived in your dream. And now you cannot begin the day without it. The chapel is always colder than the world outside. Even in summer, the candles wait for you, tall, unburned, unchanged. You light them one by one, and as always, they do not drip. The wax stays perfect, smooth, as untouched snow. You do not ask why you did once you received no answer. Only a stare and the absence of bread the next morning. The bishop's shadow stretches long behind the altar. Even when he is not there, especially when he is not there, you feel it when you bow. It does not move, but it listens. You place the offering cloth on the stone. You feel something shift under your feet just for a moment, like the chapel itself inhaled. You do not mention it. Not to the others, not to yourself. You step outside the cloister again. Now the sun begins to spill, but it never reaches the far wall. That side stays in shade no matter the hour. You sweep there last, always last. The cook appears in the corner of your eye. He does not speak. You both bow your heads. This is how greetings live here. Wordless, heavy, useful, you follow him through the narrow door beside the pantry. There are jars on the shelves that are older than your memory. No one opens them. No one dares. The bread is already rising. The fire is already lit, though no one claims to have struck it. You knead without thought. The dough is warm like skin. It folds into itself like breath. Held too long. There are no spices today, only salt. The cook hums under his breath. The same tune every morning. You have never asked its name. He has never offered it above you. The bishop walks. You never hear his steps, only feel them in the shifting of dust, in the way the beams groan with reverence. You know the pattern. Study library, private chapel, sometimes the east wing, never the garden. Not since that night you were young. Then you remember the scream, but no one spoke of it after. Not even the girl who never returned. She was not replaced, just forgotten, as if the house swallowed the idea of her. You touch the bowl to center yourself. Clay cool, true. The meal is Ready by second bell, you carry the tray. Your steps are practiced steady. You pass the door to the bishop's room and stop. The door is open, only slightly. That has never happened before. You do not breathe. The tray in your hands does not shake, but your fingers go numb. You wait 10 heartbeats, then 11, then 12. A voice inside says to go, another says to wait. Neither belongs to you. The hallway holds its breath. You take one step, the door creaks wider, and then you see it, not the bishop. Not his books, not his bed. You see the chair, the habacked one carved with saints and swords. It is turned toward the wall, and in its shadow something moves slow, deliberate. Not human, not entirely. You blink, it is gone. The door shuts on its own. You do not run. Running is forbidden, but your footsteps quicken, not enough to echo, just enough to forget. You reach the stairs, you descend into the lower hall. The cold there is older, deeper, the kind that clings to your breath, the other servants. Do not look at you. They feel what you saw. Even if they do not ask, the house remembers everything and speaks only to those who listen too long. You place the tray on the sideboard. No one touches it. Not yet. You return to your duties, hands to cloth. Cloth to table, table to silence. Each movement is part of the liturgy of forgetting. By dusk, you will almost convince yourself it did not happen. You will lie still on your cot, eyes open to the beams above, and wonder if the chair was empty after. All but deep in the night, when even the bells are quiet, you will hear it again. That slow breath beneath the floor, that rhythm behind the wood, the house is alive and it is watching you. The morning begins without light. You wake before the silver bell, before the world expects you to move. The dream clings to your skin like wet linen. You saw the chair again, but this time it was empty, and the room was full of whispering no words. Only breaths circling, listening. You sit up slowly, you check the corners, you check the ceiling. You check your hands, they are clean, but something beneath your fingernails is darker than dirt. You do not scrape it off, not yet. The hallway outside your door is colder than it was yesterday. You pass the others in silence. They do not meet your eyes, perhaps they never did, perhaps they cannot anymore. You step outside with the broom in your hand. The cloister is waiting, the far wall is still in shadow. But today, the shadow is thicker, deeper. It does not move. When the sun touches it, you sweep near it without stepping in. You always sweep near it. Never inside a girl once did the same girl who never returned. You remember her face. You think her name was Els or Alce or something with wind in it. You don't know where the memory ends and the fear begins. You turn away from the wall. The chapel doors creak before you reach them. You are not the one opening them, but they open anyway. The candles are already lit, all 12 each, flame steady. Each flame still. You step inside. The air is heavier than it should be. Like the scent of pages burning far away, you kneel not in worship, in habit, in fear, in something older than both. You bow your head. You try not to see the figure near the altar. It is not the bishop. It does not breathe, but it turns slowly when you look away. You close your eyes, you count to 77, but the number no longer feels safe when you open your eyes again. The figure is gone, but the floor beneath it is wet, not water, not wax. Something in between. You rise, you do not speak. You move, you open the side door. You walk into the corridor. You feel the house watching, but the watching is not cruel, it is curious. Hungry but curious. The kitchen is warm. The cook is not humming. He is staring at the hearth. There is no fire. Only ash, but he says the bread is already baked, and when he lifts the cloth, it is warm and soft and steaming. You say, nothing you need. A second batch, you feel the heat rise from the dough itself. You do not tell the cook what you saw in the chapel. He would not answer. He would only stare, and then forget you spoke. Because forgetting is the only safety in this house. The bishop does not come to breakfast. The tray is sent up with another boy. A silent one knew he does not return. You do not ask. No one does. There is a silence here that eats questions. You carry linens through the east wing. The air there feels slower, like time. Cannot move easily through the stones. The portraits along the wall are not of bishops. You do not know who they are, but their eyes follow your hands. You pass one that is cracked. The face is blurred, but the eyes are sharp, and they are not human. You avert your gaze, you quicken your steps. The linen in your arms begins to feel heavy, not with weight, with memory. You reach the guest room that no one uses. You have never cleaned it, but today the door is open, so you enter inside as a bed that has not been touched in years, but the sheets are wrinkled and the pillow is warm. You place the fresh linen on the chair. You do not move the blanket. There is something beneath it, a shape breathing slowly. You leave. You do not close the door. The hallway seems darker when you return, though no time has passed. The bell rings from the tower, but the tone is wrong. Lower, slower, like it is ringing underwater. You find the others gathered in the kitchen, but they are not speaking, they are staring. At the floor, at a crack that was not there yesterday, thin, long, black, as the inside of a locked box, the cook steps forward, he places a spoon beside the crack. The metal vibrates, then bends. None of you speak. One girl begins to cry. She is taken away. You do not see her again. Her name is already fading from your mind. You whisper her name to yourself so you can remember, but the sound tastes like ash. You are sent to clean the bishop's study. You have never been inside before the door opens. Before you knock inside is colder than the chapel. The windows are all sealed, but the wind moves through the room, pages flutter on the desk. Ink dries in patterns that look like eyes. The books on the shelf hum when you pass them, low, steady, alive. You pick up a fallen scroll. The writing on it shifts. While you hold it, letters unravel form again, but not in any language you know. You place it back, you dust the desk, you do not touch the quill, it drips with red, and it smells like iron. You move. To the chair, the same one from your dream, it is turned away from the desk. Toward the wall, you place your hand on its back. The wood pulses once, as if it remembers being alive. You step back, you bow, you do not know why, but you bow, and the chair rocks forward just slightly. You leave the study, you close the door, it does not latch, it never does. You return to the chapel before sundown. You are not required to, but something pulls you. The candles are still burning, still unmelting. The figure is not there, but its absence is loud. You kneel again, the floor beneath you hums. You press your ear to the stone, you hear movement far below, like someone walking through water. You rise, you look behind the altar. There is a door there. You have never noticed it before. It is small, iron sealed with wax, but one seal is broken, just one. You do not touch it, but you feel the cold leaking through. You turn, you leave outside. The stars are beginning to burn, but the sky above the house is empty. No stars. No moon, only black like a hole in the night. You stand still, you do not breathe. Then the silver bell rings, but it is not time, and it does not come from the tower. It comes from the floor, from the walls, from inside the bishop's house. You walk. Back step by step you pass the others, but their eyes are different. Some are too wide, some are too dark, some blink too slow. You reach your room, you lie down. You close your eyes, but the dream is already waiting. You do not remember falling asleep, but you wake with your hands clenched, nails dug into your palms. You open them slowly. There is something inside. A small silver thread, curled like a question. You did not put it there, but it is warm and humming. You drop it, it lands without sound. You do not pick it up again. The others are already moving, but not speaking. They file through the corridor like echoes of themselves. As if the night pressed them into something flatter, something quieter. You join them, not because you want to, but because the house expects it. The stone beneath your feet feels different today. More hollow, like someone removed something deep beneath it. While you slept, the cloister is not empty. The shadow on the far wall is gone, but in its place is a faint outline, as if someone stood there too long and stained the stone. You sweep around it. Even now, even when the sun touches it, it does not fade. You glance once, it looks back. You do not glance again. The chapel doors are already open. You did not open them, but the candles are burning. One is black. It was not there yesterday. It is on the fourth holder where the prayers for the dead are placed, but no one has died. Not officially. The cook enters. His eyes are red. He hums the tune again, but it is slower off-key. He places the bread near the altar, not on it, just beside. You think that is new, but you are not sure. You are sure of fewer things now. The bell rings 3 times. Too quickly, the bishop does not come. But the house listens. You feel it like breath on the back of your neck. You do not turn around. The black candle flickers. Its smoke twists into symbols. You do not try to read them. You leave. You are sent to the laundry today, far beneath the stairs. You descend the steps slowly, each one colder than the last. The laundry chamber is not a room. It is a hollow carved into stone. The walls sweat. The air tastes like rust. You see the water basin, but there is no water, only cloth drenched, but the bucket is dry. You lift a sheet. There is something written beneath the folds, not ink, something burned letters in a language that speaks to your spine. You do not read aloud. You wring the sheet. It hisses. Steam rises, but the fire is not yours. You drape the linen on the rack. It does not drip. You hang the next, and the next one has a shape pressed into it, like a body once laid inside, small, still unbreathing. You do not touch it again. You leave the laundry. You find the corridor longer than it was. The walls are closer breathing with you. You return to the upper rooms. You are called to the library. The voice that calls you is not a person's, it is the bell ringing, once low, then silence. You find the library door open, the light inside is not candlelight, it is gray, soft like moonlight, with nowhere to go. The books are open pages, flutter as if stirred by a breeze. There is no breeze, you do not step past the threshold. Not yet. You wait, the bishop is inside. You see only the back of his robe. He does not turn, he is facing the tall shelf. His hand is raised, but still as if holding something unseen. You whisper his title. Not his name, no one knows his name. He does not respond, but the pages stop fluttering. You step inside, he turns slowly, and where his face should be there is a blur. Not shadow, not cloth, just absence. He says your name. You did not think he knew it. It does not sound right when he says it. It bends, it breaks. He tells you to dust the east wing. You nod, you leave. You do not hear his footsteps, but you hear the whispering begin again behind you. You do not look back. You find the dusting cloth folded in the corridor. It is warm. You take it, you walk to the east wing. The portraits are humming, all of them together. A low sound that presses against your ribs. You dust the first frame, the face in the painting blinks. You dust the second. The eyes follow your hands. You reach the cracked painting, the one with the blurred face. Today, it is clear to clear, and the face is yours, but older, tired, covered in ash. You stumble back. The cloth falls, the humming stops, the silence slams like a door. You leave. But the portrait is still watching. Even when the corner turns, even when the stairs descend, you feel it etched. Behind your eyes you are sent to prepare the guest room, the one with the breathing shape. It is empty today. The bed is cold, but the floor is wet. Footprints bare, leading to the wall, and stopping you. Change the linen anyway. You close the window. You light a candle, it burns blue, you leave it, you turn back at the door, the flame is green. Now you lock the room, even though there is no key. You carry the tray to the bishop's room, his door is open, you enter, the chair is turned as always, but the room smells different, like flowers that died in winter, like metal, like old wind. The bishop is not there, but something is. You feel it, you do not see it, but it sees you. You place the tray down. You back away, the curtain moves without wind. You step outside, you close the door. It closes slow, like it wants to stay open. You return to the cloister, the sun is high. But the shadows stretch wrong, they bend away from the light. Toward the house, you feel something pull in your chest, like the house is breathing through you. You sit by the edge where the stone is clean. You touch the floor, it is warm to warm. The same hum from the chapel rises from the cracks, a low chant, wordless but full of meaning. You close your eyes. You listen, you see the bishop, in your mind, standing in a room you have never entered, whispering to the walls. You see the girl, the one who vanished. She is kneeling. Eyes closed, mouth sewn shut. You open your eyes, you are still in the cloister, but now you are not alone. Someone is standing beside the far pillar, tall, silent face, covered in a veil of threads, silver moving without wind. You do not speak. It turns slowly, and where its eye should be, there is only light, soft, blinding. It raises one hand, and in it, a small candle, black, unlit. It offers it to you. You do not move, but the candle is already in your hand. You do not remember taking it. You blink. The figure is gone, but the candle remains. You rise, you return to your room. The candle stays with you. Place it by your bed. It does not melt, it does not move, but it watches you lie down. The air grows thick, you breathe slowly. And as your eyes begin to close, you hear the bishop's voice in your mind, calling your name, but not as it is, as it will be. And you know tomorrow, the house will ask something of you, and you will say yes. The morning does not come, not truly. There is no light through the window, no glow through the curtain. Only a dull gray that clings to the stone like wet cloth. You sit up slowly, the black candle is still there, still unlit, still watching you reach for it. Your fingers hesitate. The wax is cold, but not lifeless. It feels like something waiting, something listening. You wrap it in a cloth. You place it in your pocket. You do not ask why the bell does not ring. None of them do, but still the others move, as if summoned, as if something else calls them. Now the cloister is empty. The shadows have not left. They stretch like threads pulled from a deeper cloth. You sweep, even though no dust remains. The wind has not come today. Even the air refuses to stir you past the chapel. The doors are closed. That is new. They are never closed, but today they are sealed wax across the wood. Symbols drawn in ash, your name among them written sideways, backwards, wrong. You turn away. You walk toward the laundry. The steps down are slick. Each one creaks, like it is trying to warn you. The chamber below is dark, but you know the path. You do not need light. Your hands find the basin, it is full, but not with water, something thicker. You do not touch it, you turn. The linens on the wall are moving not by breeze, but by breath. They rise, fall, rise again. You step back, the air shifts, the candles on the shelf ignite by themselves. One by one, then stop at 11, one place remains dark. The 12th wick, where the servant's name should burn you, leave the stairs. Feels steeper going up, like the house is reluctant to release you. You do not resist. You have no strength for resistance. Only ritual, only routine. The corridor bends when you return. It has never bent before, but now the wall curves gently like a rib cage. You follow it because there is nowhere else to go. The bishop is waiting, not in his study, not in the chapel in the garden where he never walks, where he never stands, but today he is there. His robe dragging through leaves that have not fallen, his hands bare fingernail stained, he is planting nothing, digging into nothing. The soil parts for him without effort. You watch from the arch, you do not speak. He turns, his face is still a blur. But today, it shifts. You see eyes, just for a moment. Eyes that are not human, not cruel, just ancient like stone, that remembers blood. He speaks, but not aloud. You hear him in your chest. He says, "It is time." You do not answer. You nod, you bow, you turn. The bell rings from beneath the floor, once, twice, then silence. The others do not return from their chores. The kitchen is still. The fire is cold. The bread is untouched. You are alone, but you are not. The house walks with you. Each corridor breathes. Your name, each stair hums in a minor chord. You pass the guest room, the door is gone. Only a wall now, as if it was never there, as if it was always a lie. You feel the candle in your pocket grow warm. You climb the west stair, the one that leads to the attic. You have never been there. No one goes there, but today the path opens. Dust rises like fog. Wood groans underfoot. The door at the top is cracked. You push it inside. There is nothing. And then there is everything the walls are covered in. Names, thousands, written in charcoal, ash, rust. Some of them move, changing, becoming. You see yours, then lose it, then find it again in a different hand. A mirror leans against the far wall. It is not dusted, not clean, but clear, and in it you see yourself. Holding the candle, but your face is not your own. It is older, wiser, empty. The candle begins to smoke, though it has not been lit. You place it on the floor. The smoke rises in a perfect spiral. It gathers at the ceiling and forms a circle inside the circle. A doorway opens, not of wood, but of light and cold and memory. The bishop enters the attic. He carries nothing, but you feel the weight of something in his presence. He nods once he steps into the doorway. He does not disappear. He becomes less. Then, more than gone, you stand alone. The mirror begins to hum the walls, flicker, the names glow. One falls from the ceiling and lands at your feet. It is not your name, but it feels familiar. You pick it up. The ash clings to your palm. You place it. On the candle, the flame erupts, blue, then black, then still. You take the candle, the mirror changes. It shows the chapel empty, open, waiting. You descend. The house bends with you, stairs widen, doors breathe. You enter the chapel. The floor is marked a circle in salt. The altar has vanished in its place. A stone basin full of water. That is, not water. You step into the circle, the air thickens. You raise the candle, it lights without flame. The shadows gather, they do not threaten, they listen. You speak. Not in words, in memory, in rhythm, in the name of the girl who vanished, in the name of the boy who never returned, in the name of the servants whose names were eaten by the house. The water ripples, the ceiling cracks, a light shines from below, not warm, not cold. True, you place the candle in the basin, the flame vanishes, so does the water, so does the circle. You stand alone, but the silence has changed. It is deeper, full. The bishop is beside you. He does not speak. He kneels, he bows. You kneel. You bow, the chapel breathes, and you for the first time feel the house exhale. You do not remember rising from the chapel floor, but you are walking through the west corridor alone, yet followed not by footsteps but by memory. The stone beneath your feet remembers your name, but it does not say it, not anymore. The walls are no longer walls. They are skin cold, breathing alive. You carry no tools, no tray, no broom, only silence, and the memory of a flame. The servants are gone. You have not seen them since the attic, the girl who wept in the laundry, the boy who never spoke. The cook with songs no one remembered, gone, as if the house released them, or kept them, or became them. You do not ask, because you already know. You reach the bishop's study. The door is not closed. It is not open. It is absent. The frame still stands. But beyond it, only fog. You step through the study is not a room. It is a space carved into nothing, filled with shelves that have no books, chairs that do not touch the floor, a desk with no legs, only shadow. The bishop stands in the center, but this time he faces you. His face is clear. It is not human, it is not monstrous, it is yours, but peeled of time, peeled of fear. His eyes do not blink. They see through. He speaks not in words, but in silence, and you understand this house is not stone, it is not wood, it is a vessel, a cathedral of memory, a temple, for the forgotten, built not to protect, but to preserve. What others fear, what others erase, what cannot die, he raises his hand in his palm. The same silver thread you found in your bed, it moves. Like breath, he places it in your hand. It melts into your skin, and you feel everything, every name scratched into attic walls. Every prayer whispered through clenched teeth, every footstep taken in secret. You are no longer a servant. You are no longer unseen. You are the one who remembers. He turns. The chair is behind him, the one carved with saints and swords and something beneath the saints that no one ever looked at long enough to name. He sits the room, shifts the shelves, fill not with books, but with scenes moving, living. You see the girl again, her thread restored. She walks in the garden, hands clean, eyes closed, peaceful. The boy who disappeared now laughs in a cloister that does not rot. The cook hums his song to a fire that never dies. You see yourself younger, smaller, watching from behind the staircase, when no one noticed, when you barely breathed. That part of you bows. The bishop speaks again, this time aloud. He says, "Will you stay?" And you say yes, because the house has chosen. And so have you. You kneel. The stones beneath your knees no longer bite. They cradle. The candle returns black, but now burning from within. Not fire, but memory. You hold it. You do not tremble. You carry it through the lower halls. Each room bows as you pass. The laundry breathes again. The guest room returns. The chapel doors creak open. You step inside. The basin is filled once more, but this time with names. Floating, unwritten, waiting. You touch one. It burns, but you do not pull away. You let it write itself into you. The candle dims the floor, warms. The bells ring, all of them at once, not in alarm, but in arrival. In return, you walk to the far wall, where the old shadow lived. It is now a mirror. It shows the house not as it is, but as it always was, alive, endless, full of servants who were never small, only unseen, now seen, now remembered. You pass through the mirror. You do not walk, you glide, you float. The house opens for you, room after room, hall after hall, some filled with faces you almost forgot, some with voices still singing, some empty, still waiting. You will meet them one by one. You will keep the records. You will light the candles. You will close the doors. No one else should enter. You are no longer afraid. You are no longer alone. You are the servant, but also the guardian, the guide, the whisper, the breath in the walls. You return to the attic. The names are still there, but some begin to fade. You do not stop them. They are leaving. They are ready. You touch the wall. New names appear in your hand. A book opens. You begin to write, not in ink, not in blood, but in silence, in truth, in memory. The bishop stands behind you, then beside, then gone. But not lost, just returned. You light a candle. You place it in the window. It flickers. It waits somewhere far beyond the cloister, beyond the hills, beyond time. A child wakes in a cold bed, clutching a silver thread, and so it begins again.